all go together, and that was kind of one net.
Have they been getting closed down or something?
No, I think they've just kind of combined. They're not too popular here in Xi'an.
But the gay bars, they're not. Well, why are gay bars not too popular in Xi'an though? I mean, apparently in Beijing there's like a big gay scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's super fun in Beijing. Here it's like the gay bar here is quite boring. It's just like a drag queen show and some really boring show on stage, and people just sit there and nobody.
I think Xi'an is more traditional in that aspect.
Yeah,
like,
more reserved. Yes.
Yeah, Beijing, they don't really give a shit. But go to Xi'an, people care if they're seen there.
Oh yes,
true. So.
That's something I'd like to ask you about actually. You know, so basically, how long have you two guys actually been together?
1 year next Monday.
1 year next Monday.
Yeah, it's how long we've been
officially
dating, but we met in April of last year.
Oh, so you actually, oh wow, so you actually remember the dates. You know, I'm a nightmare and my girlfriend goes crazy because I always forget dates. I remember when I first met her, it took me about a month or 2 months until I could remember her birthday. And her birthday was coming soon as well, so that was kind of getting a bit, so that was creeping upon me.
We're pretty good at dates.
Yeah.
I think I asked him to be my boyfriend on June 1st.
Because
I thought the 1st was an easy day to remember.
Yeah, oh, so that's why you've done it. June the 1st, an easy day to remember.
Yeah.
Right, so, well, basically, Jack, I'm more interested in getting your experiences about, obviously, being a gay man living in China. Because I understand, I mean, if you read in some of the literature, if you go back like 500 years ago, it was, you know, homosexuality was, you know, was quite tolerated. And people in certain areas of society, even government officials who had wives and kids, were known to get involved in it, and it was acceptable. But so I'm just wanting to know about your experiences now, because it's kind of came full circle. At one point it was acceptable, then it became completely unacceptable. You know, there was law. I mean, it was only until 2001 when homosexuality in China was taken off the mental health list. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
In 2001, yes.
2000, yeah, 2000 or 2001, yeah.
Yes. So until 2001, it was still classed as a mental illness. So I'm just wanting to know about, obviously, your experiences living in, especially coming from Xi'an, because it's more of a traditional city, as they call it. So, like, how old were you when you realised that you were gay? What was, like, the turning point, so to speak? Yes.
I realized I was gay when I was 16 years old, I think. But it was like there's no any turning point. It's more like before that, you know, like a Chinese school, they don't give you some kind of sexual education. They don't give to you. So you know nothing. What is gay? You just don't know. And just one day when I was 16 years old, I just read something about gays, like blah blah blah. This is gay. And then just like, wow, I'm gay. So something like that. So it's like, it's more like I've been gay forever, but I didn't know what's the meaning of gay until I turned to 16 years old. Someday I find out. It's like, oh my God, so I've been gay for the whole of my life. So it's more like that, yeah.
Okay, so how old were you when you first, you know, came out that you were gay?
Probably also 16.
16, so you found out, so you read something in a book, you said, oh, I'm gay, and then you came out. Was it really that quick?
Yeah, it's kind of just like, a lot of things happened when I was 16 years. Like, I realized I was gay when I was 16, and also I came out of the closet to everybody when I was 16. So it's like, 16 was like, really, just a lot happened for me when I was 16.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yes.
So 16 was a big turning point in your life.
Yeah, it is actually. It is.
So you came out pretty much straight away, or maybe it's after a couple of weeks. I'm not entirely sure. Now, 16-year-old, you would have still been at school. You would have still been preparing for the Gaokao, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like we have 3 years for high school. It was like the first year of my high school. So. Yeah, I was still a student, and yeah, it's like just crazy time. I was still 16 years old, and just like you know, just tell everybody. Not really tell everybody. I just tell my desk mate like I'm gay. I think I'm gay, and she was quite nice though. She was like, oh okay, so it doesn't matter, I don't care. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool because it
Yeah.
could have went the other way, couldn't it? And,
Yeah.
So how was it growing up and going through school as a gay youth in China, in Xi'an especially? How was it?
For me, I think it's quite good actually. I mean, of course, for older people, like my parents or whatever, like these older people, my teachers, I think I'm pretty conservative about it. So I never really even talk about it with my teacher. So but it's like, I mean, for all my classmates and all my generation people, like we're just like we don't care, and it's, it's like so I think the youth is not too bad because your friends don't care and your classmates don't care, your same generation people, they all don't care. So it's like just same as straight people. No.
Oh, really? So it was actually it wasn't a nasty experience.
No,
it wasn't.
No, it's not. It's not. Definitely not for young people. So I think it's quite good. Like for me, when I was in high school, because everybody just don't care. Like young people, they just don't care about it. So.
Oh wow, that's excellent. So you didn't really tell your teachers as such. They were very conservative. You kind of just you didn't openly tell them, "Hey, I'm gay."
No, I didn't. And I think like nobody would even tell us like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah, I'm gay." And so I didn't tell my teacher about it. I think it's even none of their business, and they don't ask me about it because I think they can kind of feel like probably Jack's a little gay or something, but they will never talk about it.
Oh, the gaydar thing, you know.
Yeah.
You can always suspect when maybe someone's gay. Yes, I know.
Yeah, but they just don't talk about it. So they never talk about it.
So I mean, it's a bit of a family tradition in China that the male carries on the family name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that can put a lot of pressure on people coming out. And so obviously you came out at 16. How did your family react?
Okay, so it was quite fun. It's like
fun.
Yeah, it was a little bit interesting. So it was like I remember there was a time like I went out for some fun, go out, hang out, and with some guys and a gay guy, we just like all go out. But it was a little bit late, so I stayed over at a gay guy's home. And the next day when I back to my home and my parents asked me, "Jack, where were you last night?" I said, "Oh, I was just with a guy last night. I stayed over with him like at his home." And my parents said, "Okay, why is a guy? Are you gay?" I was like, "Oh well, yeah, I think I am." And then my parents like freaked out. It's like let's just like don't say anything, and like just got speechless. I was like, "So?" And it's like so you're gay? Anybody knows of it? And they just got really like picnic. They got freaked out and so nervous about it. So like, anybody knows it? I said, yeah, all my classmates, they all know it. All my friends, they all know it. It's like, and it's like so freaked out and started crying. It's like my dad and my mom just started crying. It's like, oh my god, what should I do? Or something like that. I was like, come on, calm down, it's okay. And they just they got really freaked out and they said, okay, they just told me like after they calm down, they just told me like, Jack, I think like you need to go to some like a therapist for that. I think it's mental problem. But I was just but they were still angry that time. So I thought, okay, sure. And the next day when they come down, I just tell them, okay, I just explained them to them what's meaning of gay. It's no problem. It's just like I like a guy, but it's same. It's just as those straight people who like girls, it's just same, but only just I like guy. And they just like they kind of get it, so they didn't send me to like therapist or something. So yeah, that's the experience of my coming out of closet.
So you mentioned therapy. Please tell me it wasn't electroshock therapy or anything like that, because I've heard of those instances in China where their parents have actually give their kids electroshock therapy because they were gay.
Really?
Yeah. Which is, I know it's but apparently yes, there are those stories around. You only have to search online. I know you shouldn't believe everything you read online, but yeah. I could imagine some of the stories that I've came across now.
I think probably it could be true because I'm sure like some Chinese parents are quite crazy. Probably they will send their kids to the mental hospital or really do something crazy if they got to know their kids are gay or something. But now my parents I was kind of lucky. My parents were not crazy, so yeah.
I mean, obviously, how old are your parents? Can you tell me?
Around 50.
So that generation maybe it would have been.
Yeah, they're still little. Yeah, because for them, at their time, when they were young, gay was still kind of illegal.
Yes.
Illegal. Also, my grandparents, those generations, they also think it's illegal. But for my parents, I think they're one part of my parents. They're in their life, one part the gay thing is illegal, and later it's not illegal anymore, but it's more like a.
It takes time. It takes time for it to change, for people to accept the idea.
Yeah. So
It's the same where I come from. I was explaining to your boyfriend earlier. I come from a coal mining village, and sometimes people aren't as open or as accepting as, let's say, people from London or Newcastle or Manchester. The bigger cities. Yeah. So still, so I can understand where you're coming from there. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, talking about obviously some people, how we mentioned earlier, are scared to come out. Mm-hmm. There's a book that was written by an American guy. I can't for the life remember his name, but the book was called Sex Through the Red Door, and it was about the history of homosexuality in China. And there was a study carried out that said that 80% of gay men in China will actually go on to get married and have kids because they want to please their parents and carry on the family name.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of this? Do you have any friends who have done the same thing?
Yeah, we do. Both of us, we have some friends. They did this. It's quite common, I think, for Chinese homosexuality people. For example, my friend, he just married a lesbian girl, and they just got married last year. And I said, why do you do that? And they said, because my parents asked me to do it. I didn't want to hurt them. I don't want to lie to them. I was like, but you are lying.
You are lying to them.
Yeah, you are lying. But he just said, I just don't want to hurt them. Just got some excuse. But I think also I'm just scared of their parents. So,
yes,
yeah.
I've actually read that there's a lot of cases where it happens in the West as well, especially in the famous circles, celebrities.
Yeah,
you hear stories where lesbians have actually married gay men to keep their sexuality in the closet as such, and to protect their careers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my best friend in America, actually, he's from Nanjing. He's about 35, and he's married, has a baby, but he's gay.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife just left him recently because she had an affair. And I said, well, now's your chance. You can be with a man. He said, no. My mother says, I must marry, have another baby. I said, but you don't want this. He said, but she will be sad if I don't do this. And coming from the West, I guess we're so apathetic to what our parents think to a degree.
Yeah.
We're more in their face about it. It's just, it's incomprehensible.
Yeah. It is, but it's the thing in China, it still goes on as though the parents' words, basically that's final. Yeah, and they really follow through with it. Yeah, as though it's the law, yes.
He's approaching 40, I just think, you're almost 40.
Yeah.
You can't stand up.
It's like just the whole of your life, just kind of ruined.
Yeah.
It's kind of really
so, and I think one of the things that stops a lot of people coming out is the negative stereotypes. I mean, as a homosexual in China, do you have to face any negative stereotypes?
Not for young people, but for old people. Older people, older generation, they all think gay have AIDS,
yes,
or gay has STDs, or gays are immoral, especially immoral. My grandma, my dad, they all think it's quite immoral, and so I think most of people think it's immoral. I don't know why, but it's really weird.
Yeah, you have to deal with the.
Yeah.
I've read a lot. I recently wrote an article for a magazine in the UK about homosexuality in China and discrimination, and a lot of the articles that I was reading online when I was researching, when I came across HIV and AIDS, a lot of them were talking about how in China, a lot of people think if you are a gay male, you must have AIDS. That's the thing, that you come across that quite often.
I think the discrimination is more toward maybe your work. we work for the same boss at Xiaojia, and he said, don't let anyone know you're gay, or it will ruin my company, like the English company. He said they don't care, they really don't care about this. And for example, there's this other foreign teacher that stole stuff. He said, if you're gay, it's just as bad as being him. I'm like, so you're comparing a guy who stole something and had sex with one of your students to me just being in a gay relationship? He said, yeah, right. And
of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
That's pretty much about immoral. It's moral. Pretty weird.
So in a traditional city like Xi'an, do you guys, do you express your love openly here? Do you hold hands on the street?
Sometimes.
We do. When we first met, I guess, with any relationship.
Yeah. Oh, you're holding hands and hugging.
It's more of us there, but we did. But actually, it's not really much our thing. And Jack never did recognize it much because he's from here, but I could recognize the difference from being in the West. Some Chinese, once you pass, like, or take pictures like this, we were holding hands or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite rude reaction.
Yeah.
Well, I get that just because I'm white, and I'm pretty sure you do the same.
Yeah. But if we're holding, it's a different reaction, I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
So the reactions, if you're holding hands on the street, you do get a reaction. People take photos, that kind of thing. Have you ever had any, let's say, negative experiences where things have been quite nasty?
No, not really.
I've never had anyone say anything.
Yeah, I think like people like who get reaction from that, like most of young people, they take pictures like, look at that. But I think they do that is because they think it's cool, or they think it's like pretty rare in China. But I think they do this kind of reaction is not because they think it's nasty, but they think it's
it's
like
unusual.
like unusual, or they think they are so brave or something.
Yeah, well that could be one thing.
Yeah, because like there are always some kind of posts on Weibo or some Chinese social media, like some people post some like gay couple holding hands in the street, but a lot of people just like it or say, it's so cool, or just like blessing them and best wishes, something like that. So I think young people do this kind of reaction is more for they think it's cool, or they think it's like you guys are so brave and so just so brave to love someone you like, something like that. So it's.
I noticed the reaction here is a lot. So I lived in Beijing a year before here, and Beijing really people didn't notice it much as they do here. Here's a bigger reaction to
because it's quite unusual here.
Because I think most of the foreigners actually they see here are tourists. It's a tourist city. There's not many foreigners that live here, especially many gay foreigners that date a Chinese. So it's super rare for them. So.
Yeah.
I was reading an article online. Now you always expect that in the countryside it's going to be worse, way out in the the North one.
Yeah.
You always think it's going to be worse, but I was reading this article, and this article was interviewing two. I think they were living somewhere in Xi'an, but they said in their village where they were from, everybody used to give them their blessing, and everybody thought that they were really, really brave. And I was really shocked by that, because you have this stereotype that in the countryside, and especially in England, it happens with us as well. I mean, I come from a small coal mining village. Everyone thinks that we're all crazy and we're backward, but it just goes to show, even in the countryside in China, some people have actually embracing it and they're giving their full blessing towards it.
It's actually quite different. Like I think it's because most people from like a countryside village, they are more innocent. So they are like they've never like think about it, or they never know about what is it like. So they are quite innocent about it. So when they see it, they just feel it's something new. I just didn't know before. So they just get it really quick.
It's shock.
Yeah,
kind of shocked.
Yeah, they got shocked, but yeah, they get it like really quick, something like that. But yeah, like for example, there's like a classmate, a roommate in my dorm, and he's from like a really village area, and he's just like, he didn't even know what's gay. Like when I just, he didn't even know what's gay when I just come out closet to him. He's like, what's gay? I just explained to him, and he's like, okay, that's cool. I never knew about it. So I think it's like, it's just same as Chinese village or countryside. It's more like that.
Oh, so
yeah.
or because they've never heard of it before. Once you explain them, and they've had no negative influence from other people. It's like,
exactly.
oh right, I see, I understand that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So right, I'm sorry, I ran out of memory for a moment there. Now, so do you have any friends who've ever had any bad experiences? They've told you any stories, anything?
I think the only negative experiences I've ever heard have been from family members more than from other people.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think quite the family culture is a bit selfish here. It's more, even when I go to Jack's home, at first they said the problem was it was because I was white to come over there, because as a foreigner I would draw more attention. So
the fact that their son was gay.
So if it was a Chinese coming to their home, because they live in a very Chinese area that no foreigners live in, then it would be more unnoticed. But him bringing home a foreigner, they would lose space maybe, because people would start asking questions. Well, why is there a foreigner going to your home, such as this? So I think most of the negative experiences are from families, and even Jack's family. They're super nice to me and they treat me really well. But I think more they care about what other people think. They really, I think they're actually pretty accepting, seeing his grandmother is 81-year-old Chinese woman, and lets him bring home his boyfriend for dinner. That's amazing for China.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, in the future, China is becoming more open and tolerant towards homosexuality. What are your visions for the future of China in this aspect?
I think it has a long way to go. I mean, since the people who's in charge of this country, the government, or these people, they're still older generation, so we're still pretty conservative about it. So it really takes, I think it will really takes a long time to be better until, like, right now the younger generation who's becoming in charge of this country, it will be better. But it's hard and it's a long way to go.
Okay, now, obviously, in the long term, where do you guys plan to stay? Will you stay in China or will you go back to the West?
Well, I want to go back to the West, which I think is, we both kind of agree, because I think in the West we have more legal rights, legal protection, as far as work rights and things such as that, as we aren't protected in China. So if Jack wanted to get a job, he would have to build face, build guanxi, which he might not be able to, being a gay guy living with someone. It might be something he had to hide. I don't want to have to live a fake life here. Have to hide things just for his work.
And also, in the long term, have you considered adoption of a child, that kind of thing?
Yeah, probably.
Because in China, I don't think, as a homosexual couple, would you be allowed to adopt a child?
No, I don't think so.
No, probably not. But we've talked about it. Just still a way off. We're quite young,
and you've only been together roughly a year.
Yeah, for about a year. So it's something we'll have to deal with in the future. But we both talked about adoption.
Like that.
Yeah. Actually, I dated a Chinese guy before who wanted. We talked about adoption. We were together about 2 years, and he said, "But it has to be my blood." So it's like, so he was playing a surrogate mother and all this. But we both agree that we want to adopt. If we do, we don't really care about being from our blood and this such.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. That's just about it. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
No. Are you gay?
No, I'm not.
Just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Would you like to know about my relationship? I'm just kidding. Right, thank you very much, guys. Where do we stop?
So